located in Central California at the moment.
Ah, okay. So you're 2 hours before me over here. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's why I was the time change kind of. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. So, well, thanks for reaching out. I'm glad you've been watching my reels on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Where'd you see me?
I've seen you on Instagram, the reels on Instagram, and I've been trying to look into research into go. My wife actually wants to make the transition from America to Mexico, and she's really interested in Tulum.
Okay.
She wants to probably start to get out the first 6 months, but basically make it her forever home. You know.
Okay.
So that's like.
You're cutting out, Zach. I can't hear you.
So, sorry about that. So that she wants to transition from America to Mexico. She likes the quality of life and everything better in Mexico. We visited plenty of times, and she likes it better out there.
Okay. And how do you feel about it?
I'm a happy wife, happy life, pretty much. You know, I'm gonna go with the flow, whatever she wants to do. But she wants to.
That's good.
I would prefer to be here. I grew up in America, but
okay.
Whatever she wants to do, I support her, and she wants to give our kids a better life. We have 5 kids. She just wants to get more bang for our buck. And
I'm sorry. You said you have 5 kids?
Yes.
God bless you, brother. That's hardcore. I thought I was having a hard time with my 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, and I have a 21-year-old, but 5. You're a good man.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, big time, big time. Okay. So, have you guys been to Tulum before?
No, we're actually going in January. We're going to be out there. We just went to Puerto Vallarta last month. But
okay.
We're going to be going to Tulum in January. We're going to be out there in January the 16th through the 21st or 22nd, I think.
Okay. And are you guys renting an Airbnb, a condo, a house, or staying in a hotel? Or where are you guys going to stay in Tulum?
We're staying in a resort. It's for a concert out there that they throw the Crash My Playa right there in Cancun.
Well,
so we're going to be out in that area. So we're going to be staying at a resort.
Okay. And then you guys are going to have some time to come down to Tulum and check it out and stuff like that, right? I mean, to drive around. It's not going to be just the concert, I'm assuming?
No, it's not just going to be the concert. We want to experience the area, and I definitely want to go look at check out Tulum.
Well, I want to ask you some questions, okay? I'm not going to be too invasive, but I want to ask you a few questions just to kind of get an idea of what you guys are trying to do, okay? So you're telling me you want to move here with your wife and your 5 children. You want to move to Tulum. You've never been to Tulum before, which is fine. I'm sure your wife has spent hundreds of hours online looking at YouTube videos and looking at what Tulum is and what there is to offer, what the school systems are and stuff like that. So I'm assuming you're not really necessarily looking for a place as an investment property. You're looking for a place to live, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
correct.
so your distance to the beach isn't paramount. I mean, in other words, distance to the beach is kind of relative. It's a perception, right? Everyone here in the Riviera Maya that lives here, they complain when they live 10 minutes from the beach because they live here versus somebody that lives in the States, they usually live hours from the beach. So it's really kind of relative in where you live, right? So wherever you are in Tulum, you're going to be within 10 to 15 minutes from the beach anyways. And you might necessarily not have to live inside Tulum. You could be 5-10 minutes outside of Tulum to get outside of the tourist area where you're not paying so much for your cost per square meter, right? You're going to get more homes for residents, people that want to live here. Honestly, it opens up an entire spectrum of residential opportunities and options for you where you're not going to be spending an arm and a leg to buy a house in a touristy section because you're basing it on a returning your investment or based on a rental property, right? You're doing it as a place to live.
Yeah.
I'm not at all trying to sell myself short. I'm not saying I'm going to try to find something inexpensive and cheap. It all depends on what your budget is and what you want to do. There's some really high-end, nice neighborhoods that are being built within the tourist area it's going to revolutionize basically the living space and how to have a lower carbon footprint and being eco-friendly, eco-chic, but still having the accommodations and the comforts of having electricity, air conditioning, stuff like that. Super cool stuff. I'm going to ask you kind of a personal question. What kind of budget do you guys have set aside, or what have you thought of what you'd want to spend on buying your home in Mexico?
I would say that from the high end, probably in the 350 to 400,000 range at the highest.
Okay.
In between, lower than that, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
What we plan on doing is we own a ranch out here in Mexico. Well, me and my wife own a ranch out here, and I was gonna get a HELOC loan out of it and try to put as much as I can down to pay off the loan. But we instead of having financing, because I think it's valued at at 470,000, so I could probably call it like 310, 320, and just hopefully put majority of that down on a house and have a low payment.
Okay. I mean, there's you're in a perfect spot right there. That's actually like the 350 to 450 range is a very sweet niche where you're not going to be shortchanging yourself. There's a couple of different levels, right? When you go below 200,000, you're usually sacrificing a lot of space and you're going to be kind of cramped with 5 kids. You know, when you go over that 200,000, 250, when you get into the $300,000 mark and you get outside of the tourist zone, you're going to start getting bigger spaces, more living spaces, more backyards, more front yards, and having more, just more accommodations and nicer stuff. You know, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to be doing some content today, I'm going to be talking about the cost of living, you know, in Mexico. And there's a lot of people that talk about how it's super expensive to live in Playa del Carmen or really expensive to live in Tulum. But realistically, what's happening is people are living here and trying to live here like they're on vacation, right? So when you live here and you go to Fifth Avenue and you go to all the touristy restaurants and you go to the downtown stuff and you go to the shops and the corners that are normally there for tourists, you're going to be spending an arm and a leg on basic stuff. But if you live here and you understand where the locals shop, where the local go grocery shopping, where the fruit stands are, you don't have to go to a big name brand grocery store like Walmart or Chedraui to buy your fruits and vegetables. You can buy them at a local stand. You're going to spend 60% less on those fruits and vegetables because you're buying them from a local farmer's market, right? So there is amazing opportunities for your cost of living, and the quality of life is just slower. It's more tranquil. And there are some really good schools coming right now into Tulum. You know, I'm not sure how soon you're looking at wanting to move here. Are you looking at moving here like next year or like 6 months or a couple of years from now? What's your plan?
Probably within 6 months to a year. She really wants to go out there. Like I said, it's just more tranquil out there. The quality of life is better out there. It's more community-based. Everybody's friendly. And she likes that a lot compared to being in America.
Yeah. I bet it's getting pretty crazy in California, huh?
Yeah, it's just outrageous over here. Everybody's complaining, saying that it's expensive, but for you coming from California, I understand, like you said, that when you're in a tourist area, you're gonna get charged in the tourist area. But you got to go to the locals. You got to go experience and be outside the tourist area. That's why we always try to do in trouble.
Good. Okay. You know, I went to high school in El Cajon, you know, just south of San Diego, and I used to live in Alpine, out there in California. So I know the lifestyle, the way it is. I used to go to Coronado Island. I used to go to La Jolla Beach and stuff like that. And I enjoyed California a lot. I loved it out there. I'm actually a born and raised Texan, you know, but my dad was living in California, so I went out there for a little while and I got to enjoy it. But it is very expensive. You know, the cost of living in California in general, I know there's local spots, but real estate and your cost of living in general is a lot more expensive in California compared to Texas. Well, at least that was the case, you know, 20 years ago. But and that's all changed since then, you know?
It's still the same, but and not only that, I know that Tulum right now is it's a great time to get in before it really does get the big boom and everything starts to come in, because I know if I wait a couple years, prices are going to be going up. I'd rather get in now and go from there. Okay.
Well, Zach, I can help you. This will be a fun adventure, and I can't wait to meet you guys in January. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a bunch of different options. I'm not going to inundate you with options. I'm not going to make your brains blow up. I'm sure you guys are already on Google. You're already doing your research. You're going through YouTube, stuff like that. I mean, just to give you a number, there's 700 plus developments happening right now between Tulum and Playa del Carmen, right as we speak. There's going to be like 14,000 units will be put out into the inventory over the next 18 months. But I think about maybe 90% of those are going to be condominiums. They're going to be studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. You know, so the niche market of the housing market where you guys are going to be fitting into, there's a few, but they're very good. High quality, really nice stuff. I'm actually going to talk about some eco-friendly ones today on some of my content that have a certification called an EDGE certification, which basically gives you it's different levels of certification based on the amount of impact or the little of impact you have on the planet on your carbon footprint. You know, it could be 20, 40%, up to 100% eco, like free, like off-grid completely on the 3 different levels of certification. It's super cool. So you're in an amazing time right now, Zach, and an amazing timing and time. One, for the transition of your family, your wife and yourself coming to Mexico to start enjoying a different type of life. And 2, the timing you have with the airport and the Mayan train and other things that are happening in this area, and people are revolutionizing the construction and development industry within Tulum, and you're gonna be able to have a piece of that. So I'm gonna send that stuff to you via email or via WhatsApp or however you want to communicate. It's up to you. And then so when you guys get here in January, you're gonna be like, Alberto, I want to see this one, this one, this one, and this one. And out of these 4, that's where we're gonna make our decision. And then we'll start the process from there. Okay?
Okay, that sounds great. I appreciate it, Alberto.